I want to show you how one word, a word that almost everybody uses, and one you've probably used this week, is quietly limiting your income and will keep you operating at the same financial level in your future that you're operating at today. And here's the thing, you don't even realize how this word is affecting your financial future. By the end of this video, I promise you this, that once you become aware of this word, you will hear it all over the place. And when you stop using it and replace it with what I'm about to show you, you will start to see changes in your thinking, your opportunities, your income, faster than you think. I'm Garrett Fromm, and I'm here to show you how to change your words so that you can create the relationships you want, the financial position you want, the health you want, and the life fulfillment that you want. So let's start with this one word. What is it? The word is expensive. You've said it, I've said it, everybody says it. But here's what really happens when you say the word expensive, such as that's expensive, or some variation like it costs too much. You think you're describing the price relative to how much money you have. That actually has nothing to do with it. What you're actually doing is describing your financial limit. You're creating a ceiling in your mind that you can't cross. What you're really saying is, that's too much for me, and it's probably always too much for me. That's outside of my reach, and it'll probably always be outside of my reach. That's not for someone like me. I don't have that kind of money, and I won't ever have that kind of money because it's too expensive. At a deeper level, you're telling yourself that you will never have the money to afford XYZ. I want to say this, that nothing in the world is expensive. It's only a perception and how we get to being able to afford something. So every time you say the word expensive, what you're doing is you're keeping yourself, you're reinforcing that whole idea that you won't have that kind of income. So this isn't about pretending something doesn't cost what it costs. It costs what it costs, period. And it has nothing to do with how much money you currently have. This is about understanding something that most people never stop to think about. That your words that you use are not neutral. They are revealing how you currently think. And every time you use words like expensive, they're instructions to your subconscious. They tell your mind what's possible and what's not, what belongs in your life and what doesn't. And most people are walking around every day unknowingly telling themselves what they can't have. And that is what we're doing when we say something is expensive. Your brain doesn't question the words that you speak, it accepts them. And then it goes to work figuring out how to make them true. If your language says, I can't afford that, or that's too much, or that's expensive, your brain is looking for ways to prove that, not ways to grow. It's looking for ways to stay consistent with that belief, and that's why it's reinforcing it. And that consistency keeps you stuck at the level that you're at and will always keep something outside of your financial limit. What does this look like in real life? Well, it shows up everywhere. You see something you want, and you say, oh, that's too expensive. A trip to Hawaii or moving to Hawaii. And people always say, oh, Hawaii's so expensive. Or you see someone just living at a higher level. You think, that must be nice, I can't do that. Or opportunity shows up and you say, that's out of my price range. None of these sound really dramatic. In fact, they sound pretty normal and pretty true. But that's the trap, my friend. Normal language creates normal results. So the shift we need to make is create new language. Now, here's where you change everything. You're not going to lie to yourself. We're not going to pretend something isn't outside of your current budget. What we want to do is remove the ceiling in your mind, because once you remove that ceiling, your mind is going to go to work on figuring out how to get to whatever new ceiling you have. So here's what you do. You completely get rid of that barrier of financial limits of something being too expensive. So instead of saying that's expensive or that's too expensive, here's what I want you to say instead. You catch yourself on this. You say, that costs more than I'm used to paying, at least right now. You see how that kind of opens things up, and it's a very positive way. Expensive is negative. It's a stop. Here's another one. That's outside of my current budget, but I'm going to get there. Or that's a higher level of investment than I've ever made before, and I'm not sure I can achieve it, but I'm going to work on that one. Or here's another one. I don't have that yet, but I'm working toward it. Here's another one. That's valuable. I just need to grow into that level. Feel the difference in all this? When you say it's too expensive, it shuts the door on ever being able to achieve it. The other way you see it actually creates an open door. It allows your mind to start to think and process, not consciously, but subconsciously. You're literally removing a barrier within your mind. And by doing that, you start to see new possibilities. So the real shift, the word expensive, ends the conversation, basically. It's too expensive is a dead stop. These new phrases start a conversation. What happens is your mind starts to process, oh, well, wait, maybe I can get there. As long as the conversation is open, the growth to achieving whatever it is possible. Now, we want to be real because sometimes we just may not be interested in something and we use that expensive thing as an excuse. This is where we have to get real and just say, you know what, I just don't want that. I don't want to go to Hawaii. I have no interest in it. But maybe you want that car you've been eyeballing, but you don't have the money for it right now. I want that car and I'm going to get it. I don't have the money for it right now, but I am going to make this happen. That completely opens the gate instead of saying that car is too expensive. Now, I want to talk about something important because some of you are feeling it right now. You're hearing this and thinking, that's not true for me. I don't have that kind of money. That feels fake to talk to myself like that. Or you don't know my position. Well, good. Now we're aware of the resistance. Your position is your position, but your position is the result of saying that's expensive over and over and over again. And that's why you're at this point where something feels so expensive. So now we can start to change it. We can literally start to trick our mind. We're actually not tricking our mind. We're just saying, you know, I don't have the money for that right now, but I want to get that money and I'm going to figure out how to get there. You don't have to force yourself to figure out how to get there. You're just opening things up. So that resistance is showing you exactly where your belief system is sitting when you're using the word expensive. So here's the truth. If you want a different result, you cannot keep using the same language that created the current situation. It goes along with my favorite quote, which is, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So the mind that is creating financial tightness has the word expensive in it. So you have to change your mind. You have to change your thinking. And when you change that thinking, you're changing you're eliminating the part of the mind that's causing the problem and seeing something as too expensive. So yes, at first it might feel like imposter syndrome, like you're saying something that isn't fully true yet, or like you're lying to yourself. You might even feel guilty about it, but who cares, right? That's how change works. You got to push yourself through it. You just get a little uncomfortable, but the more you say it, the more comfortable you get with it, and the more you actually start to believe it. You don't become it and then speak it. You start speaking it, and then you grow into it. Realize that it's a process. So we don't get from here to here. We have to go in through the process from thinking something's too expensive to starting to see that, wait, maybe I can achieve this. And then to this point of confidence of, I know I can achieve this. So here's what I want you to do today. Just catch it once. Either you say it or someone else says it, but when it happens, just pause and say, ooh, that word just came out of my mind. Replace it. Say, okay, I just said expensive, now I'm going to say it this way. And the more you become aware of this, you're going to hear it all over the place. You're going to actually start to realize how limiting that is for most people and for you. And that one moment of awareness is where everything starts to shift, my friend. So we took one word today, just one, and changed it. And now that you know what that word is, and you see that people use it, and that it is literally creating a wall to achieving anything that you want, you're going to start hearing it everywhere, in yourself and other people around you. And here's what matters. You won't ever say it the same way again. When you say expensive, you're going to feel that little bug that says, I shouldn't be saying this word. And when you change that, you will start to see changes. You will truly start to see changes in how you think, in what you go after, in your income, in your belief in yourself faster than you think. Because your words don't just describe your reality. They reveal how we think and how we process life and what our limits, what we think our limits are. And when we change these words, we reshape what you believe is possible. If this video hit you and you had a moment, then put in a comment. Say, yeah, I say it all the time. Hit the subscribe button, because in this channel, we are going to rewire the way you speak. And by rewiring the way you speak, we are going to change everything in your life. So drop a comment below. What's a phrase you've been using that you are going to change after this when it comes to the word expensive?